Hello and welcome to another episode of Scott Reads Comics. Today I'll be covering Marvel Team Up number 15, featuring Spider-Man and the Ghost Rider, published in 1973 by Marvel Comics. We've got a fantastic cover, looks to be uncredited, but could be interior artist Ross Andru. Don't know for sure. This is, of course, a classic 20 center, which is that larger size. I'll compare it to the this later appearance of Ghost Rider that I have in his own mag. And I've given away the game a bit here. He's not pictured on the cover, but this is the first appearance of the Orb, one of my favorite weirdo third tier, fourth tier villains in the Marvel Universe. Of course, he appears in this team-up book, but he really becomes a Ghost Rider villain. And this is a very early appearance of Ghost Rider. Let's dive in and take a look at this one. It is a Silver Age classic. Len Wein, author, Ross Andru, illustrator, Don Perlin, inker, Glynis Wein, colorist, John Costanza, letterer, and Roy Thomas, editor. If an I Offend Thee is our title. Ghost Rider's motorcycle extravaganza. The impossible happens in every performance. So Mary Jane is trying to take Peter to this event to take his mind off of his hectic life. This is, of course, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, in his civilian identity. And, of course, at this point, Mary Jane doesn't know Spider-Man and Peter Parker are one and the same being, although perhaps she suspects. I think when she finally revealed that she knew Peter was Spider-Man, she said she had known for a long time. But here they are on kind of a friendly date. Of course, this is after Gwen Stacy, I think, has already passed away. Peter mentions a recent fracas with the kangaroo, which I believe I covered on this show in a Marvel Tales issue. The interesting thing about this appearance of Ghost Rider is this is a nascent Ghost Rider here. Johnny Blaze and Ghost Rider are, of course, one and the same being, similar to Bruce Banner and the Hulk. As Ghost Rider's book would go along, he would become more and more dangerous, unhinged, demonic, if you will. And even in this issue, we're so early on that Ghost Rider does not have his signature hellish cycle made of literally composed of hellfire. That comes later, obviously. He's driving a conventional motorcycle in this show, but he is Ghost Rider and Johnny Blaze in one. We have his language, his particular way of speaking isn't the sort of Ghost Rider we would come to know later on, with a very menacing and formal speech. Listen to that applause. They love me. Maybe coming back to the garden was the right thing to do. Couldn't let Crash Simpson's death and the Ghost Rider's birth keep me away from here forever. The full story was explained in Marvel Spotlight number 5. So I admit I should have done a little bit more homework, a little bit more digging. I don't think Marvel Spotlight number 5 came out much before this particular issue. That's what I'm saying. I think this is a fairly recent appearance of, or a fairly new appearance of Ghost Rider. He's a new character at this point. Still haven't gotten all the edges filed down. So they're enjoying the show, and these marauding cyclists show up. Well, no, first, these are actually Blaze's team. This is part of his team. Now, for the first time anywhere, Johnny Blaze, the Ghost Rider, will risk not only his own life, but the lives of 4 others in an exhibition of motorcycle wizardry. So these guys are going to streak forward. And, I love this ad for... This is so great. Love the colors on this. This newsprint is fantastic, by the way. This is a really nice issue that I purchased from eBay for surprisingly not that much. So Blaze is about to do his stunt. He jumps over them. Listen to them up there. I guess that sound is what makes it all this worthwhile. And Peter thinks, okay, MJ, you win. I'm glad I came. Those guys are flat out sensational. Did you say guys, Peter? One of them, at least, is a girl. One Roxanne Simpson, to be precise. the daughter of the man who owned the show before he died, and the love of Johnny Blaze's life. And speaking of lives, Peter, though yours is traumatic, the Ghost Rider's is positively strange. For example, hey, stop, you can't come in here without a pass. What in? That's what you think, sweetheart. Oh yeah, we'll see about that. The Orb and his men go anywhere they like. And right now, they like it here. Okay, mister, hold it. Don't force me to shoot. Shoot. You're not going to shoot me. You'll just put your gun away like a good fellow now, won't you? Don't look at me like that. I mean, I'll fire, I swear it. I'll just put my gun away like a good fellow. So fantastic sequence here from artists Ross Andrew and Don Perlin. And this first panel with the Orb, or I should say, I guess the second panel, since we sort of see him in the distance here. What a strange, macabre, and incredibly cool, and also goofy at the same time character he is. Over the 80 plus issues of his own series and his other appearances, Ghost Rider would collect maybe one of the strangest collections of second and third tier and fourth tier supervillains that you could imagine. Just a host of them. And the Orb's got to be up there close to the number one spot for the weirdest. Totally awesome. He seems to have the ability to mesmerize the whole crowd with the power of his crazy helmet that he's wearing. That is a helmet. I have learned in a bit of research that there is another Orb who came along after, who the eyeball is actually their head, which is a bit strange. I much prefer this one. Drake Shannon, I believe we'll learn his name is. So everyone is hypnotized except Peter, whose spider sense guides him to look away. There's one great advantage to buying seats in the upper balcony. Nobody's apt to see you use your webbing to pull a stunt like this. Doesn't really matter, though. The folks in the audience are blotto, and the guys in the arena are too preoccupied to notice me running up to the rafters. But at least up here, it's dark enough for me to have a little privacy while I change to a certain friendly neighborhood web slinger. Johnny, please, come back. Don't do this. I don't get it. Granted, Roxanne's pure of heart, but she's never been a fanatic before. Why is she so against me stopping those creeps? But it looks like she needn't have worried. These cycle studs are pacing me, hedging me in so I can't go after the big-eye ball who leads them. So this is definitely not conventional or the sort of dialogue that I would associate with Ghost Rider. This is Johnny Blaze talking here. So again, they haven't really arrived at who the Ghost Rider is and how he's supposed to behave. Meanwhile, and what the Orb is after is, no, don't. It's useless to struggle, Miss Simpson. You're my prisoner, and you'll do what I say. So he has kidnapped the love of Johnny Blaze's life. The main powers that Ghost Rider seems to exhibit in this story are basically just his hellfire. He doesn't have his super strength that I can tell, or incredible resistance to injury, or of course the ability to manifest the flame cycle is not there yet. Like I said, I think he's a work in progress still at this point. You heard the man, Hotshot. So why not be polite and get out of his way? Spider-Man, in the adorable webbing, chub. The web slinger's sudden intrusion has given me the opening I need, and I'm not about to blow it. Hang on, Rocky honey. Here I come. All right, so great shot here of the Orb riding away with her. And very solid work by our art team here, drawing the hardware in this issue. All these different cycles all look really cool. And the Orb does end up getting away, leaving Spider-Man and the Ghost Rider to figure out how to find him. But they get this cryptic message, and it's pretty cool how his hypnotism works, I guess, remotely. Through the crowd, they all speak in unison. Johnny Blaze called the Ghost Rider. Each of us has something the other wants, so I offer you a trade, the life of Roxanne Simpson, in exchange for complete ownership of the cycle show that bears your name. You will have 2 hours to contemplate your decision. Then I will contact you again. Amazing, the orb's voice speaking to us through the mouths of those he still controls. At least now we know what this is all about. So meanwhile, the orb brings Roxanne back to his hideout. And on that dramatic note, let us turn from our team twosome and focus our attention instead upon a dank, dark, hidden chamber and the rest of our peculiar cast. You'd better make yourselves comfortable, men. I expect we'll be here for a while. In which case, I should awaken the Simpson girl from her trance, though it's been so beautifully quiet since my hypnotic eye put her to sleep. Oh well. Awaken, Roxanne Simpson. Huh? Oh, it's you. Where am I? Why have you done this to me? And who are you? Who am I? Yes, I suppose it is difficult to recognize me through my special helmet. Not that you would, of course. After all, you haven't seen me since you were an infant. My name is Drake Shannon, Roxanne. And once, many years ago, I was your father's partner. I just love this character. Look at the jodhpurs, the whole red jumpsuit, the white belt, of course the orb and the ascot. He just great character design. Your father and I began your cycle show together, but with very different attitudes. Soon your father was calling me a reckless, a menace on wheels. I, in turn, called him a weak-kneed fool. So they have a disagreement about the future of the stunt cycle show, and so to settle who's going to own it, they decide to race, and the orb, Drake Shannon, at this point, tries some underhanded tactics, but he fails and ends up wrecking. And at 95 miles an hour, my motorcycle threw me, Roxanne, and my momentum sent me scuttering along the tarmac for more than 25 yards on my face. Oh, I love this ad for Call Here. Great house ad. And then mail it to the team up. Quick look at the letter column here before I move on with the story. Letters from Stephen Chavez, Richard Nathan, and Clint Ard and Rodney Hogan. I'll just quickly read Rodney Hogan's. Dear Stan, I was glad to see the change of artists on Team Up number 10. Jim Mooney did a great job. But hey, what's this on page 11? After Spidey told the story, the torch states the problem is to locate the bombs before they go off. So, okay, so he's talking about some story element from a previous issue. So we'll move on back to our story. I'd been in the hospital weeks before they let me have visitors. So Roxanne's father comes to try to make peace. Shannon throws him out. When the hospital released me, I became a loner, an outcast, if you will, shunned by people wherever I went, until at last I stopped going anywhere. I'd reached the end when they found me, gave me the hypnotic helmet and the courage to ride a cycle again. Now, finally, they show me that show will be mine, as it was meant to be. That's not true. You're not winning back the show. You're stealing it. Not stealing, Roxanne, merely collecting on a 20-year debt. Don't you think I deserve something? Oh, no. After all, when that race was over, your father had everything. And all I had was this. This is incredible. This could be in a horror mag. So cool. He's horribly scarred from his terrible accident. Oh, your face, it's horrible, horrible. It is indeed. And for 20 years of living with it, I'll have your cycle show or your life. Nothing less will satisfy me. Enough, foul mortal. Leave the girl alone. Blaze, impossible. I haven't established a second contact yet. How could you find me here? I am called the Ghost Rider for good reason, evil one. Those you entranced at the arena have, by my power, been released from your control, with no memory of what had occurred. But I remember, fool. Earlier, you proposed a bargain, which I now accept. Here are the ownership papers you demanded. May they bring you no peace. Sorry, Blaze, but with these papers in my hand, I'll finally rest easy. In this life, perhaps. Come, Roxanne, let us be away from this madman's lair. Away, you fool. Did you really think I'd let you walk out of here to tell the authorities I forced the papers from you? I suppose it was a foolish notion. Well, it's the last foolish notion you're ever going to have to face. Okay, fellas, On my count, open fire. 1, 2. Oh, I can hardly wait. Here we go. Ah, Spider-Man. Gee, I didn't know they taught you to count that high in reform school. Ah, you guessed. And I so wanted to keep it a surprise. Which is why I hid my Spidey tracer on the back of your cycle, Clunkhead. It led us right to you. So again, we see a fight with these minor thugs going on, and of course, Ghost Rider just using his Hellfire here, not really exhibiting any of his other powers. Excuse my sudden departure, Spider-Man, but under the circumstances, I know you'll understand. So the orb absconds with Roxanne again. Ghost Rider follows. Spider-Man webs up the thugs and takes to a motorcycle, which is pretty awesome. Got to give Orby credit for finding an out-of-the-way hideout. An abandoned power room on an equally abandoned subway spur, no less. Guess with a housing shortage and all, it was the best he could do. Ouch, this big bruiser is more difficult to control than the little 200cc job I used to have. So I guess previously Peter Parker did have a motorcycle. So he has some experience, but it's pretty great to see Spider-Man on a motorcycle. Keep away from me, Blaze, I warn you. Those who gave me my helmet also supplied me with this. A laser gun? Come on, Blaze, move it. We're gaining on him. Blast, can't gain traction on these crumbling tracks. And if we don't stay with the orb, we may lose him in the station ahead. So the chase is hot and heavy all along the subway area. And we'll pick it up here. The orb has a stymied web slinger. As long as Roxanne is his captive, there is little we can do. Oh, I figure there's plenty we can do if our timing is correct. To coin a cliche, hothead, here's my plan. Thus, moments later, as the eye-domed desperado attempts to dissuade his relentless pursuers. Stay away from me, fools, or die. Okay, GR, now. Simultaneous, webbing, stream, and hellfire bolt lance out with calculatedly successful results. What? The girl, the firebolt dislodged my hold on her. And now Spider-Man's accursed webbing pulls her from my grasp. They've stolen my edge. Don't worry your Halloween mask, Ghosty. The girl is fine, just a little shaken. Thanks, Webslinger. I shall indeed. Oh, I think you deserve to know I'm not wearing a mask. Then, instants after, the spectral cyclist overtakes his foe, Blaze again. But this time I'll destroy. You cannot destroy one already beyond death, villain. Huh, my pistol. Too hot to hold. Have to get out of here. For some reason, my hypnotic helmet doesn't work on Blaze. And without my laser gun or the girl as a hostage, he has the advantage. Surrender, foolish mortal. Your schemes are at an end. You cannot hope to escape one from the burning realm below. No, you won't take those papers back. I won't let you. My cycle show is mine. Now, mine, do you hear me? Follow me to the ends of the earth if you want, but I'll never, ever give it up. You madman, come back. Don't you see what's ahead? There's a train in a tunnel. No, ah! Nothing I can do to help him now. And only instants to save myself. If only this tunnel was high enough. Made it. Right under the wire. But anything left in the express path is finished. And when the train is passed, no sign of the orb's body back there. The train must have dragged it down the tunnel. But I did find these lying on the track. That poor mad fool. To go through all that effort to sacrifice everything for these. I'm almost glad he didn't live long enough to find these papers were worthless, mere forgeries. No man should have to know he died for a hollow dream. Fare you well, Spider-Man. Perhaps we'll meet again. I'll look forward to it, Ghosty. Wait a minute. Did he say he's not wearing a mask? Next issue, Spidey and Captain Marvel in a brand new menace. Beware the basilisk, my son. So this issue featured the first appearance of Ham and Egger, loser villain, the Orb, who I love, totally great, And then the next issue, issue 16, features the first appearance of the Basilisk. And I also happen to own that one, so maybe I'll cover it on the show. Real quick, here's a later appearance of the Orb, much later, 1980 versus 1973, so 7 years later. And by this time, check it out, 7 years later, Don Perlin's still working on art for Ghost Rider. Here we see him making his Cycle of Hellfire. And here the characters are separate now in terms of their personality. Johnny Blaze may have called me forth only to save his wretched mortal life for him. But one such as I has needs other than safeguarding the mortal host with whom he resides. So, yeah, they're definitely separate. And of course here too, exhibiting that super strength as well. Look at him hurling this multi-100-pound motorcycle at these guys 50 feet away. And totally awesome here. Yeah, so the cake is baked on Ghost Rider at this point, and he only gets more savage, more demonic as the series careens toward its end. And great work here. This is all Perlin pencils and inks here. And of course, here's the Orb again. And I don't have Ghost Rider 28, but I'm going to track it down because I'd like to get all the appearances of the Orb. But here, he's been upgraded. No longer he has a separate laser. The laser is integral to his helmet. And this story is really actually very tragic. The Orb is kind of a tragic character. So, another great shot of him there. Yeah, but very cool. Really cool to finally get a hold of, own this first appearance of the Orb. I'm going to treasure this one. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends, and I'll bring you more soon on Scott Reads Comics. Thanks for watching.